ChatGPT turned the world upside down. It advanced and evolved, stole people's jobs, and their complaints fell on deaf ears because it's AI. Having a job stolen by it was inevitable. ChatGPT don't care, ChatGPT reigns supreme. That is until Deepseek came out, stole ChatGPT's job, and now suddenly they don't think it's fair. How dare Deepseek steal data from ChatGPT that they rightfully stole? How dare they create a competitor that isn't just faster and better in many ways, but that's also open source for everybody to use for free? AI shouldn't be open, according to OpenAI, who were quite happy to hold all of the cards so long as they were their cards to hold. Now, there are good reasons for why AI shouldn't be open. As you've probably seen, it can be used to fabricate stuff, it can be used for malicious purposes, and is probably too much power for any individual to wield. Apart from OpenAI, of course, and other large corporations who will obviously only use it for good, and to steal your job. The thing is, as you've probably seen, it is being used to fabricate stuff. It can be used for malicious purposes, and is probably too much power for anyone to wield. Pandora's box has been opened. It's going to turn the world on its head, and the only thing we as individuals can do in all this chaos is to complain about it very loudly, and also to wield our own personal Pandora's box just in case. Mutually assured destruction or whatever. So this whole chaotic situation that's unfolding is because a Goliath mega many billion-dollar company has been knocked off balance by Deepseek, which was trained for roughly $6 million, which has shown that you don't need the vast resources and processing power and data that corporations in the West have been using to train their models with in the past. So it's a bit of a shocking wake-up call for them, because it smashes the financial barrier of entry that people previously thought training cutting-edge AI entailed. Now, of course, Deepseek, being Chinese-made, has been accused of being limited or malicious in all sorts of ways. Not like trusty American companies who are known for looking after and for respecting user data that they've stolen from everyone. I'm sorry, there is a certain amount of schadenfreude from this whole thing that I can't help but enjoy, especially knowing that AI will soon be coming for my job as well. So for it to be coming after ChatGPT's as well, and by undermining all of its own plans for expansion and jobs it's going to create, it's kind of bittersweet. I hope serving as a wake-up call that perhaps action does need to be taken to prepare us for a world where the jobs that currently are no longer exist, and that it hopefully doesn't mean that everybody without jobs is left to starve and die, which is the way it's headed at the moment. So right now I feel like a crab in a bucket, watching as big crab Deepseek reaches up and drags even bigger crab ChatGPT down back into the bucket with the rest of us, before sharing it with everyone else. It levels the playing field somewhat by giving us all something that we can use for ourselves, on our own PCs, in our own time. It doesn't even need to be connected to the internet, which counters all those privacy concerns that people have had about the Deepseek models. Deepseek also crashed Nvidia stock, which I get, but I also don't get. So I get it because all this time Nvidia have been the driving force behind the majority of AI calculations and developments. Their hardware does the calculations, so I suspect the drop is a combination of people discovering that you don't need so much hardware to do these calculations if the models are so much more efficient in the first place. It's also the knowledge that, despite America's best efforts to restrict this kind of hardware from reaching China, they've gone and done it anyway, and without the need for that hardware in the first place. And I also suspect a bit of this share price drop is just a knee-jerk reaction to hearing something about less processing power being required. But to me, Nvidia's stock price drop will likely be but a temporary blip, because Nvidia's true power isn't in their AI, it's in their hardware that powers everybody else's AI. In a gold rush, Nvidia would be the ones selling the spades. It's just that the people buying the spades have gone from being from just a few big companies to being any enthusiast with a PC. As long as somebody wins with AI, Nvidia is going to win as well. So ultimately it doesn't really matter who's wielding the spades, or in this case, the AI processing units. I'd be more concerned about the stock price of Microsoft, Google, Twitter. Companies that have invested heavily into AI thinking it would give them a big advantage, when suddenly it doesn't look like they needed to invest anywhere near so much as they did, and that their advantage isn't as great as they thought it would be. They still have an advantage in AI, rather ironically in the form of manpower and experience and expertise with AI, but they're going to start seeing competition from lots of smaller companies and probably a few enthusiastic university students as well. And maybe some YouTubers, who knows. Sure, Deepseek has proven that AI doesn't need literally all the processing power in the world to compete with what ChatGPT is doing. It can be run fairly well by almost anyone on any decent PC. Rejoice! Maybe the world is saved. Maybe those Nuclear power plants won't need to spin up to drive all these power-hungry server farms any longer. Yeah, right. I suspect it won't be long before Nvidia's share price goes back up again as greed gets the better of everyone, and as they realise that just because the models are more efficient, it doesn't mean they'll use them any less. If a model is 100 times more efficient, they can just do 100 times more stuff with it, or invest all that extra power into pushing the model further to extract yet more capability out of it. I don't think the hardware driving AI will be left unused, nor do I think those nuclear power plants they're firing up will be abandoned again. I think it's only inevitable that AI will fit the space that's given to it, and that any breakthroughs in efficiency will be invested straight back into making AI work even harder, better, faster, stronger. Because AI's work is never over. As for Deepseek, they're getting cyber-attacked, DDoSed. Someone doesn't want them succeeding. I wonder who it could be. What could their motivations for attacking an up-and-coming AI company possibly be? But the models are shared, they're free to download. Just like the advent of ChatGPT let the cat out of the bag when it came to AI innovation, Deepseek has let the cat out of the bag when it comes to competition within the AI space. And it's open, free. And to a corporation investing hundreds of billions into that technology, free is the scariest thing of all. It's not a matter of whether or not AI is a good thing. It's here and it's going to evolve, and it's going to be a frantic bloody arms race to wherever it's eventually headed. I'm not sure where that is just yet, but I thought I'd end this video with something a little bit fun, and I posed a simple question to ChatGPT and to Deepseek. Which is bigger, 9.9 or 9.11? ChatGPT thought 9.11 was bigger, before showing its reasoning which actually showed that 9.9 was bigger. ChatGPT was unsure of itself, and when I questioned whether it was sure, it kept being like, sorry, I was wrong, before being wrong again. It was quite amusing actually, a little bit sad. Deepseek got the question, worked through it rationally and with a very human chain of thought and reasoning, and got the right answer straight away. How nice is this? It's not just spurting out an answer, it's actually providing me with its thought process, which will probably make it easier to retrain if it does get it wrong. Though it didn't, it got it right. And I asked it if it was sure, and it said it was. So I asked it again, are you really sure? And it was like, yeah, f*** off, I've already told you I'm sure. So it's confident. That was hardly in-depth analysis of these two different models, but it was impressive how Deepseek held up and actually surpassed ChatGPT. But here's the interesting thing. I then returned to ChatGPT again to get footage for this video, and it didn't mess up. It had seemingly learned from my earlier chat. So I asked if it was sure, and it told me to f*** off because it was sure. Don't worry, it probably wasn't because ChatGPT is getting smarter, probably more proof of how inconsistent ChatGPT's logic currently is. For more AI related content, here's a video I made the other year about them cramming AI processing units into laptops and other stuff and what it will mean for you. At the time I thought all these things would be underpowered for purpose, but with improved efficiency of these newer models, maybe not. And here's a non-AI related video where I talk about toilets and George Michael. Enjoy!